guys, it is Trevy the Great here again with another 40k battle report. Sorry I haven't been getting these out too consistently. I've been dealing with some personal stuff. If you've been keeping up on my blog, you know about that. I needed some time. I came home from school. Basically just needed some time to unwind and figure out how the future is going to work. But for now, we're playing 40k, painting some toy soldiers, and it's awesome. I have a couple battle reports to do over the next couple of days. I have a little backlog of them, and I think you'll see a theme here, and the theme is Space Wolves. We have a lot of Space Wolves going on. There was a recent bloom of Space Wolf players in my local game. There used to be one person who played Space Wolves, but I showed up with a Space Wolves army. A couple people started Space Wolves armies, and it was just like, whoa, Space Wolves all over the place. So this is going to be a game using my Space Wolves army. This is an army I got a couple weeks ago, put it together, and didn't really get a chance to play it until recently. Very exciting. So this is my first game with Space Wolves. I had no idea what I'm doing. Generally just looked around and saw it was cool in the codex, read a couple articles on the interwebs, and pretty much tried to figure out how the army was going to work out. The scenario today is pitched battle and annihilation, which is cool, and I'm playing a Tyranid player. The Tyranid player was, because I was new to this list, he was going for a pretty wacky list. He took two Venomthropes. There's Zoanthropes on the board, but he is proxying them for Venomthropes, and they are each rolling with a unit of, I think, 30 Ormagants to give them that 5+ cover save and that dangerous terrain if you assault them. So that's pretty good. He's also got a unit of 3 Carnifexes, not something you see too often, and they're joined by a Warrior Prime to give some Synapse support. And then he has a unit of Gene Stealers and two Trigons. That was what I was going to say. So actually, no, he has 2 units of Gene Stealers. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. So pretty nasty, lots of fast assaulting units, and a lot of big monstrous creatures that are going to be hard to take down. Except that I brought some monstrous creature killing weapons myself, so we'll go into my list. Like I said, I'm new to the Space Wolves Codex, so if you want to tear my list apart, go ahead. But I was just trying to check out some options and see how it goes. As you can see, it's not painted. I'm using the rhinos from my Blood Angels army, and it's all very very hodgepodge at this point. So here's what I got. I have 3 units of Grey Hunters. It's 10 people in the squad each. They have Plasma Gun, a Flamer. The Flamer is in there, so I get the free Plasma Gun. It's pretty cool. Plus it'll burn Ormagants, so whatever. And then I have Mark of the Wolfen, Wolf Standard, dude with a Power Fist. And that's very cool. I also have a unit of 6 Long Fangs, 5 with missile launchers, with an attached Wolf Guard and Terminator armor with the Cyclone missile launcher, so it's almost 2 Devastator squads in one squad. They are joined by Logan Grimnar, the Great Wolf himself, and he's going to give them Relentless and give them a little bit of maneuverability, and he's also making the Wolf Guard units. I've taken troops, so the Wolf Guard units are 1 unit of 4 Wolf Guard in Terminator armor. I got a couple things in there, Cyclone missile launcher, a couple Storm Shields, and an Arjak Rock Fist. And they are joined by a Rune Priest in Terminator armor with Jaws of the World Wolf and Living Lightning. And then and they are in a drop pod. And then last but not least, I have a big unit of 9 Wolf Guard. I have 4 Combi Plasma, I think, and then a Power Fist and a couple of Power Weapons. And those guys are in a drop pod, just like the Terminators, so they're going to be able to drop in and get some Combi Plasma death going on. I didn't take a picture of the board before we deployed. I won the role to deploy first, to go first. As you can see, I put my Terminators down there already, but we'll get onto that a little later. From what I remember, the board was set up with those 2 big buildings on each side. There was a forest in the middle of each deployment zone, and there were some ruins scattered around. I can't remember off the top of my head. This game was actually a couple of weeks ago. I just haven't reported it till now. So yeah, there it is. I'll go into the first turn right now. Here's the first turn. Space Wolves turn 1. Like I said, I won the role to go first. Took the first turn, and then shit went down. You can see my drop pod there, streaked from the skies, landed right next to that building. I actually tried to get it a little more farther forward, so I had more of a chance of getting some good Jaws of the World Wolf. And then maybe I'll take an assault from those Ormagants and try to kill some peoples. But I'd scattered a little bit, and in hindsight, that was probably a little better just because I wouldn't get annihilated by those mean Carnifexes too early. So yeah, I basically stood there and shot with a bunch, just about everything. I think I moved up with the Grey Hunters and things because most of the stuff was out of the range. As you can see, my opponent's deployed with that big block of Carnifexes in the center, and his two little units of Ormagants on the side, each with a Venom Thrope. What my opponent didn't remember was that the Venom Thropes are not Synapse creatures, so the squad on the right flank there is actually out of Synapse, and that comes back to haunt him later on in the game. So basically, I let fly with all my missiles. I think I killed one Carnifex with Jaws the World Wolf, did 3 wounds to another Carnifex, and just killed bunches of stuff, and it was awesome, and explosions and things. So we'll get on to the next turn now. Okay, so this is actually the end of round 2. So this is the end of my second turn, I think. Yeah, that's right. What happened was basically my opponent moved up with a bunch of things. He moved up with his Ormagants, he moved up with his Carnifexes and ran. He wasn't able to get in charge range of the Terminators, which was good for me. I didn't want to get charged by those Carnifexes because with Adrenal Glands and Living Battering Ram, they suddenly become initiative 4 on the charge because they're going simul with Terminators and they're probably just going to wipe the squad out. So fortunately that didn't happen. He didn't get close enough. So my turn, I brought the second drop pod with the Wolf Guard in. They dropped in and went, crap, we don't have anything to shoot at because everything's sort of not there. So I laid down a withering fusillade of fire onto the Ormagants, killed a whole crap ton of them, and then charged in with the Terminators into the Carnifexes so I could get the charge up there, get the extra attacks, bonuses, whatever, do all that stuff. Now, I was able to kill the actual Carnifexes pretty easily. They were pretty badly damaged because of all the missile launchers and Jaws the World Wolf and all that crap. I think actually Jaws the World Wolf didn't go off because the Shadow and the Warp was in play because that Tyranid Prime was there. So what I didn't reckon on was the Prime just being a complete badass all by himself. He did have the double Bone Swords or Bone Sword Lash Whip. He had Bone Sword Lash Whip. And that reduces my Terminators to 1, initiative 1, obviously, and then he swung out with those bone swords, basically a power weapon, and was able to cut through the armor of the Terminators pretty easily. Killed all the Terminators except for the Rune Priest and Arjak Rockfist, and they I think swung and killed the Carnifexes. So that's what happened there. And then so not looking too good for the Terminators, but I think the rest of my army is going to hold out. So this is the end of my opponent's round 2. As you can see, his reserves have started to come into play, and the number of Tyranids on the board is increasing drastically. I was feeling good in my turn. I was like, oh man, I've already wiped most of the Tyranids out already. All I need to do is kill a couple Ormagants, and then I win the game. What I forgot about was that he had 2 Trigons and 2 units of Gene Stealers in reserve, so yay. So a couple things happened. First of all, on the right-hand flank, I had a little clever ploy. Because, as I said before, Venom Thropes are not Synapse creatures. My opponent forgot this when he deployed his army. So what I was able to do is move up one of my Rhinos to the edge of that building there and force the Ormagants to move closer and assault it. What this meant was that the Ormagants were not moving towards my Grey Hunters, and I had another turn to be able to wipe out more Ormagants, as many Ormagants as possible. As you can see, my opponent's Gene Stealers have also come on the board on that edge. I think both units of Gene Stealers were able to come on, and they easily wiped out the Grey Hunters there. Although I think my Wolfen guy survived, and he was able to kill like 4 or 5 Gene Stealers, which was pretty badass. In the center, a big Trigon erupts from the ground, and I basically just starts shooting at people. It's going to be a bear to try to take him down. Fortunately, he did come in range of a bunch of missile launchers, and I can just shoot at him and hopefully kill it before it's able to assault and do a lot of damage. So one thing I forgot to mention about last turn was that in the center there, the Ormagants did assault the Terminators that were still fighting the Warrior Prime. They were able to kill the Rune Priest pretty easily. The Warrior Prime swung at Arjak Rockfist, did 2 wounds to him, and I was like, oh, no problem, he's got a Storm Shield. And I failed both my invulnerable saves and he died, so there you go. What can you do? He's 190 points down the drain, so then whatever. So this is the end of my turn 3. A bunch of awesome things happened and not so awesome things. Basically, I started to push in on the Ormagant squad on the left-hand side. I figured that was gonna be pretty easy to wipe out because I do have my Wolf Guard down there and my Grey Hunters. They both fired into it. The Wolf Guard assaulted it and was able to wipe it out pretty easily. The Trigon in the center, though, was a huge problem. The same for the Gene Stealers on the right-hand flank. I diverted one of the units of Grey Hunters to attack the Gene Stealers. They were able to, I think they killed one with shooting at close range, you know, flamers, plasma guns, everything, the whole 9 yards. And then they might have assaulted another one and wiped it out. I don't remember exactly what happened. Blew their wolf standard and then was able to just kill it really quickly. But I can't remember off the top of my head. But both Gene Stealer squads are dead, and hooray for me. So in the center, I fired all the missile launchers and things at the Trigon. I did a couple of wounds. I think I did 2 or 3. I did 3 wounds to it with the missile launchers. And then I moved up Logan Grimnar, and I was like, I'm going to kill it with Logan Grimnar. It's going to be epic. So Logan Grimnar runs up, and he swings at this big old monster. And I need to do 3 wounds to kill it, because it's already taken 3, and Trigons have 6 wounds. I did 2 wounds, and I was like, well, that's too bad. And then the Trigon swings back at me, does 3 wounds, and I fail all my invulnerable saves. Logan Grimnar, Great Wolf of the Space Wolves, goes down to a stupid, failed invulnerable save. So my characters are not doing so well this game. One thing I forgot to mention, last turn, I'm forgetting to mention things all over the place here. It's really embarrassing. But in my cunning ploy to take back the right-hand side, I tank shocked the unit of Ormagants that had assaulted the Rhino. They failed their leadership test. Their leadership's only 5 or 6, so it was pretty easily. And then the Rhino was able to just move up and leaf blower that unit right off the board. So that was really good for me. My opponent obviously didn't feel the same way, but I thought it was pretty clever of me to do that. So see if I can remember exactly what happened. I think this is 1 round later. I missed a photo in here somewhere. But what's going on is that obviously my opponent's brought up his second Trigon up next to those Wolf Guard. The Trigon was able to kill the Wolf Guard or something, or maybe the Wolf Guard ran with the Grey Hunters. Somehow the Wolf Guard disappeared, and I think what happened is that they got killed by the Ormagants, who had not yet died, or something. Wolf Guard died, anyhow. I'm sorry, this game was a while ago. I don't remember exactly what happened. On the right flank, my Grey Hunters moved up. Were able to kill the last Venomthrope over there. I killed the Venomthrope on the left-hand flank earlier with missile launchers. And the big Trigon came and ate the Longfang unit up. I was able to, because it had just killed Logan Grimnar, consolidated up to the Longfangs and then assaulted them in its turn. Was able to kill them. I think I'm able to kill it in my turn because I just have so much fire going at it from that that unit of Grey Hunters right there. And so there's that. So this is going to be the last photo of the game. This is, I think, the end of round 4. So basically, not a lot has changed since the top of 3. I killed the Trigon that was in my back zone with a bunch of shots from the Grey Hunters. The Grey Hunters on the right-hand flank killed the Venomthrope, like I said before. And my opponent was left with, I think, 3 Ormagants and a Trigon. So there you go. He decided to concede at this point just because he was, the Trigon was going to move up. I was going to shoot him with plasma. The Trigon was going to move up. I was going to shoot him with plasma. The Trigon was going to assault me, and I was going to counterattack and probably kill him. And I was, the Ormagants could have gotten killed by Stormbolter fire, from the Rhinos or whatever. And it just wasn't feasible for him to be able to win this game. I think, obviously, he could have gone for the drop pods, tried to get some kill points out of that. But as it stood, I think I was so far up on kill points because I'd gotten the 2 Gene Stealer squads, the Ormagant, one of the Ormagant squads, both of the Venomthropes, and one of the Trigons, and the Warrior Prime and the Carnifexes for 8 points. And then he'd gotten, I think, the Terminators and the Rune Priest and the Longfangs and Logan. So he was down 4 points. He could have tried to go for transports, but it would have been tough for him to make back those points in the last 2 turns of the game, 2 or 3, depending on how it goes. So he just decided to concede at this point. Obviously, it was a good game. First game with Space Wolves. Pretty happy that I won. Although my opponent's list was pretty wacky. He said, from the get go, he was playing a pretty wacky list. He didn't know how it was going to go. And obviously, leaving the Ormagants on the right hand side without any synapse was a big mistake. So that was too bad that he'd forgotten about that. I think with a better list, it would have been a much closer game. If my opponent had taken, it probably dropped Carnifexes for, I don't know, some Termagants or more Armagants and, better stuff. But anyhow, good game. First game of Space Wolves. Everything was cool. I don't know how I feel about the army at this point. I don't like the Terminators because they dropped in and just died immediately. I'm going to try to run them in a couple more games and see how it goes. But I think it's going to come down to is I'm probably going to need a Land Raider for them. I had a friend at my local game store who showed me a very cool combo, which was a bunch of Terminators with Wolf Claws with what's his face, Ragnar Blackmane, who gives them Furious Charge and plus D3 attacks when they assault rather than just +1. So that was very cool. And jumping out of Land Raider Crusader, that's a very scary unit. So we'll see what the Space Wolves army comes in turns into later on. This will be a sale army. It will be for sale when the army's finished. So if you guys want more information on that, just shoot me a message, shoot me an email. Go to trevyspaintingtable.com. Any one of those things. And I got a couple more battle reports involving Space Wolves coming up. So stay tuned.